Hey y'all and welcome. My name is Moth Mordesha and today we'll be talking about a new open world survival crafting game on the horizon named Under a Rock. Under a Rock places you in a visually impressive world of adventure and mystery created in Unreal Engine 5. These worlds are procedurally generated, so no two playthroughs will be the same. You must fight or tame local creatures, survive the wilds, brave caves and Neanderthal camps. Or, if you would rather experience the robust crafting system, you can develop your cooking skills for nourishment and other potential benefits to survive various biomes, curses, diseases, and forces of nature. The islands you find yourself, an early 19th century explorer, on have been lost to time, and have followed a different evolutionary path than the one we have. As such, exotic creatures possibly roam dangerously close to where you decide to build. That's right, you'll be able to build your own home in a place of your choosing. You must fish, fight, farm, craft, gather resources, almost certainly get eaten by something with far too many teeth, and more as you build your new island base. There is even a 10-player co-op mode, and there will be dedicated servers with a possibility for more than 10 players, and a robust character creator so you can style yourself how you'd like and play with friends. Or more realistically, 9 people you barely tolerate. The devs promise that there will be comedic elements to the game, so it seems to be a game that doesn't take itself too seriously, which is something that I love. But the question I hope to answer here is Under a Rock viable for roleplay? I'll go through 3 aspects of the game that I think do make it viable, and then the issues I see making it potentially not viable for roleplay. First up is character creation. While we haven't been given a look at the character creator yet, the fact that they have one speaks volumes to me. We have seen images of different characters, male and female, from the game devs. One such image shows various facial hair that can be used. Others show a character with vitiligo, which makes me happy personally. There's also stills of which clothing choices you can make. I'm uncertain at this time if you'll be able to change the color of your clothing. As you can see, the art style isn't very realistic, but I don't feel that it detracts from the viability of roleplay for me as it may do for some. It adds to the comedic element, which reminds me of a TTRPG called Tales from the Floating Vagabond. If you are unfamiliar, in short, the Floating Vagabond is a bar built into an asteroid belt at the edge of the multiverse. Characters can be from any genre and end up in a party together, and it pays homage to various pop culture references by parodying them. For example, one of the abilities is the Rambo effect, wherein the player can dodge bullets at close range, but only at close range. This is the type of humor I believe that Under a Rock is going for, and the art style lends itself well to that. Secondly is blueprint building. Building is usually a large part of open-world survival crafting games, and the same is true in Under a Rock. The element of building in Under a Rock that has me the most excited, and something I think role players especially will like, is their blueprint building. In essence, you can place ghosts of the items you wish to use, from building pieces to placeables, and design your build before using one bit of resources. You can change the colors of the ghost blueprints to denote specific types of items, such as blue for utility, yellow for plants, and green for building pieces. Or instead of changing the color by type, you can change the color by area, like using red for an outdoor sitting area. When you've gotten everything set the way you would like, you can then go back through, adding resources to build the pieces or items you'd like. I know we role players can get very caught up in making our homes just right, and will constantly tear down and rebuild to suit those specifications in our head. With most survival crafting games, you can end up crying into a box full of decorations you made and didn't use because they weren't just right. The blueprint building in Under a Rock eliminates that, and that is a welcome change. And finally, there is skill progression. While the skill progression isn't very different from, say, Valheim, it is a system that lends itself well to roleplay. The way this system works, if you're unfamiliar, is that you progress skills by doing things. Fire arrows at a tree? Congratulations, you're now slightly less rubbish with a bow. Throw a spear at your friend? Fantastic, your throwing stat improves and your friendship declines. The reason I feel that this lends itself well to roleplay is because if you've given your character strengths and weaknesses, those can be played out mechanically. By this I mean that if your character isn't very strong, don't increase your might skill. If your character is exceptionally good at cooking, increase that skill as much as you can. Your character ideas can be played out in real time. I like this because too often some people try to play characters that are what we call God mode. They're good at everything and can dodge any attack. But if you're using the game mechanics, this limits the ability to do that. You're only as good as your skills allow. so you can tailor your skills to your character idea and become really immersed in the world the Under a Rock dev team has created. More immersion is always better in my estimation. The only drawback, and it is a major one, is the chat box. At this time, there is a chat box in the game, but it is uncertain if it will just be a global chat box or proximity-based. There will be no VoIP service, as that would affect the game's rating. When I asked in the Discord about the text chat if it would be proximity-based and if a VoIP system would be present in the game, Liquid Mind UK, a game dev, said, "A lot will change based on how that affects age ratings." Then, when asked what age rating they were aiming for, he said, "Again, all that could change as we get closer to launch. E for everyone ideally, but strange things can push a game to T." I imagine that a profanity filter will be enabled, but whether or not this could be disabled in settings is unknown. However, even that may not be enough to keep it E for everyone, as, according to Liquid Mind UK, ratings are different for different countries. There are ways to mitigate this issue, such as having a Discord server for your users with voice channels named for different places on your server. With the Mi 6 ability for pop-out voice channels, you can even have private conversations away from prying eyes and ears. However, this workaround is less than ideal. I do hope the chat will be a proximity chat and an emote channel as well, but I will settle for a global chat and use the double asterisks to denote emotes like in Neverwinter Nights of old. Now, putting all of this together, do I think Under a Rock is viable for roleplay? As things stand now, yes, it can be. But it will be extremely difficult if there isn't proximity-based chat at the very least, let alone an emote channel. Roleplayers are used to their creature comforts of transmogs and placeables as far as the eye can see. Getting the buy-in without that, and without a proximity-based text chat, may be difficult. And I think that's a disservice to how awesome this game could be. Not many developers these days take roleplayers into account when creating games, which I understand. We are a small subset of people in the larger gaming world. However, there are a few things that game developers can count on if they throw a few tidbits our way. We are loyal, and we will spend money on and play their game until they remove it entirely. Just look at Conan Exiles if you'd like an example, or the length of Star Wars Galaxy's run if you'd like another. We create our own game with our own imaginations and require little in the way of work to make us happy. All of that said, I intend on playing Under a Rock, and I think you should too. It seems to be a funny game with a lot to show for their ongoing development. It currently doesn't have a release date, but you can stay up to date with their progress by joining their Discord or wishlisting it on Steam, Xbox, or PlayStation 5. The links to these can be found in the description. If you've enjoyed this dive into the absurd, give us a like, subscribe, or come watch me live at twitch.tv/mothmordesha. Until then, stay fabulous, and remember, if something chases you in Under a Rock, run faster than your friends.